Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. And it's Australia versus Bangladesh. And Australia would need 307 runs to win. And you would think Australia should be able to get the job done. I don't think it's quite enough from Bangladesh. They'll be disappointed with the score. Left a few runs out there on a pretty good surface. And already 2 balls off the first over of the run chase. Dot balls, both to Travis Head. He was on strike. You would think Warner and Head will go off in this first 10-over period. Get Australia off to a good platform and start. And the good news is for Australia, it's still daytime. It's just coming into evening time in India. This is a day game, obviously. Tuscan in, this one full and whipped off the pads for Travis Head through mid-wicket for 4, the first boundary. A little bit too straight there, Tuscan Ahmed. First boundary for Australia. And Head is off the mark nicely. First runs for Travis Head. A nice flick off his pads through mid-wicket for 4. And he is off the mark in style. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be here for the first part of the innings. We won't be here for the whole innings. So we'll be here for the first part of the Australian run chase. Tuscan is in. This one driven by Head to widen it off, and there's no run. And a good start by Australia with that first boundary, chasing 307 runs to win. And you would think they should be able to get the job done, Australia. They'll be looking to tick off a few things with their batting before the semi-final next week against South Africa. Really, this game doesn't really have any consequences in terms of the tournament because qualification is done. Tuscan is in. This one full, driven by Head, but only to mid-off again for no run. So indications from Travis Head that he's going to go after Tuscan Ahmed here. And for Bangladesh, they've had a tough tournament. It's been tough for them. Looking to finish off this World Cup, Bangladesh. Good evening, John. And you say Abbott came back well in the death overs. He did, John. He bowled really well in that last over. Good to see Sean Abbott get a go. In for Stark today. He was rested. That's understandable before the semi-final. Tuscan is in. This one full, defended by Head. To mid-off, and that's the end of the over. End of the over, none for 4. Good start by Australia and Travis Head. And as I said, Australia just looking to just be clinical today. Really no rush. There's no pressure. They don't need to worry about qualifying. They don't need any net run rate sort of problem. Just bat 50 overs and you'll get the runs. It's really a runner ball, really. It's not enough from Bangladesh. They had a lot of starts in their batting, got in, got out. Hildry batted well for his 70-odd, but then the rest of them just sort of came in, came out. There were some run-outs and some mistakes from Bangladesh. So, yeah, not a good day for Bangladesh. They've had a tough tournament. No Shakib Al Hasan, the captain. He's out with a finger injury, with a fracture. So, Bangladesh, well, there's plenty for them, I suppose. Qualification for the Champions Trophy, which is going to be difficult for them, trying to qualify for that in 2 years' time. For Australia, well, they're pretty much qualified for the Champions Trophy, but more importantly, the semi-finals, they're already in, and that's confirmed against South Africa next Thursday. Mehidy Hasan is in, the spinner, and this one full, defended by Warner to the offside, and there's no run. And, well, the good news for Australia is that they're batting still under the sun. It's a day game, this one here in Pune, so the pitch will only get better and better to bat on. Mehidy in. This one worked by Warner to point, and there's no run. David Warner yet to get off the mark. He scored a few hundreds in this World Cup. He'll be looking for a big score today before the semi-final against South Africa next week. Mehidy's in. And Warner works it to a backward point, and there's no run. And good start by Mehdi Hassan, the spinner. 3 dot balls. Mehdi's in. And this one worked again by Warner to that backward point region for no run. Just getting in, getting accustomed to the wicket and the pace of it, and just getting in to his innings day. But Warner, no need to rush at all. Take your time. No need to rush. Mehdi's in. And this one worked out to point again by Warner for no run. Being patient, waiting for his chance to attack the bowling. Mehdi in. And this one cut by Warner through backward point. It won't quite get to the boundary. He'll come back for 2. And that's very good running from David Warner. A couple of runs to end the over. End of the over, none for 6. Good start by Australia. First couple of overs down. Good start. Looking watchful, being patient. That's the important thing that they need to do in this run chase. Take your time. No need to rush. There's no pressure whatsoever in terms of qualifying for the semis or net run rates. Pretty much this game is pretty much a dead rubber in terms of the context of the tournament, that is. So there's nothing really for Bangladesh to gain from this game. That they were knocked out of the tournament a few games ago. And they've had a disappointing World Cup, that's for sure. Bangladesh, they won against Sri Lanka by 3 wickets in the last game, but even that, they weren't really at their best as Tuscan continues. He's in now to Head. This one full and driven by Head to the fielder at point, and there's no run. He's got to be careful there, Tuscan, giving a bit of width to Travis Head, otherwise he's just going to punish you. John says, what did you think about Ro Belinda 2 being shut down? Oh, I think, like everyone, John, very gutted. You know, I've watched a lot of his videos over the years. Very disappointing. I hope that gets rectified soon. His collection and archive is just amazing, you know, and it's sort of a time capsule for all cricket fans. So something's got to be done about that. I think Cricket Australia really got to help out there. This one's short, pulled by Head. It will just fall safe to the leg side. Couple of runs. But yeah, very disappointing about that, John. You know, he doesn't get paid. He doesn't get any profits or money from it. Obviously, he does it for the passion of it. So, yeah, very disappointing to hear that news. And he's gutted himself, very disappointed about what happened. So hopefully his channel can be back on YouTube, and or his collection of videos and archive can be accessed by all, because he's definitely made a lot of cricket fans happy watching those great innings or matches from yesteryear. Tuscan is in. This one short, and Head defends the point. There's no run. Good start by Australia, none for 8. Looking to get these runs in a hurry. And John says, let's hope so. Yeah, let's hope so. He'll be disappointed if he can't get back on, but let's hope that's rectified soon. And let's hope he can be back on the air, so to speak, as Australia going about their business in this run chase. Looking to tick off a few things with their batting. Australia looking to be clinical in this run chase, and I think that's the plan. Just look to be clinical. No need to do anything rash. Just take your time. And he's bowled him. He's chopped it on. Travis Head's chopped it on. He went for the pull shot. After he hit the boundary for 4, the next ball, he's chopped it on, tried to pull it down the ground with a flat-batted pull shot head, and he just chopped it onto the stumps, which was a bit of an error in judgment from him. Yeah, Travis Head, inside edge onto the off stump, trying to go big again, Travis Head, after he hit the first boundary. So he'll be disappointed about that dismissal there, Travis Head. He was hoping for a big score today. But he's got to go for 10. It's 1 for 12. Not happy about his dismissal there. And, well, that's Travis Head. I suppose that's the way he goes about his business. He's always going to be aggressive, take the positive approach. Understandable in the first 10 overs when you're chasing 307. So he'll be disappointed about that. Not quite the ball to be playing that shot on. It's never nice when you chop on. So he'll be disappointed about that as Mitchell Marsh arrives to the crease. Opportunity for him to get a score and before the semi-final, of course, and get a partnership with Warner. And he scored a century against Pakistan in the tournament, and that was in Bangalore when Australia won that game against Pakistan. So Australia 1 for 12. Travis Head, the first wicket to go down, chopping on to the stumps. Taskin Ahmed got the first wicket, but for Bangladesh, they do know that this is still a pretty good surface, and Australia do bat deep, and they'll have to be wary of that. They've only got 306 on the board, which is not enough. Taskin in. This one full defended by Marsh, the offside, and there's no run. And it's the end of the over. Successful over for Bangladesh. End of the over, 1 for 12 after 3. And Australia chasing 307. They're 1 for 12 after 3. And Australia looking to tick off a few things, be clinical, making sure that we are getting everything down pat before the semi-final next Thursday. So, anyway, John says, Marsh now needs to put a stamp on this innings. We don't need to win it in 30 or 35 overs. That's right, John. That's right. No need to force the issue. Mehdi Hassan is in, and this one full and punched down the ground to Warner to wide long off for no run. Sorry, for a single. Yeah, that's right. There's no need for Australia to go hammer and tong. Look, they're not worried about run rate or anything like that. They've already qualified. So Australia just need one good partnership, that's all. One good partnership. You break the back of the run chase. Look, 307. It's not enough, really, on this sort of surface. Bangladesh probably a little bit disappointed that they left a few runs out there. Not enough, you don't think. So it's only a runner ball, so Australia just need to bat sensibly. That's a glorious shot from Marsh. This one full from Mehdi Hassan. Outside off stump, Marsh drives through the covers for 4. And that's his first boundary of the innings. That's a very good shot. Over pitched. And you play a good cricket shot like that. Good stride into the ball. And Marsh was able to hit that through the covers nicely with all the power he has. The fielder at covers, it went through his legs. Liton Das there. And first boundary for Mitchell Marsh. Mehdi in. And this one full. Marsh defends. And there's no run. Imran says, welcome, Imran. You say, I was not watching the full game. Did Bangladesh get bowled out? No, they didn't. They got 8 wickets down in the end for 306. So they didn't quite get bowled out, Bangladesh. Only 2 wickets short. Mehdi in, this one, an outside edge from Marsh. Pass first slip, down to the third man boundary for 4. Excellent from Marsh. Back-to-back, couple of boundaries in this over. He'll take them off the outside edge. You'll take them as a batter. And gets a pass first slip down to third man for 4. So playing on the back foot there, Marsh. as he tends to do against the spinners. Mehedi in, this one defended by Marsh. Back to Mehedi, no run. Imran, yes, happy Diwali, of course. Mehedi in, this one full, driven past, cover for 4. Another boundary for Marsh, 3 boundaries in the over for him. Not a bad way to end the 4th over. It's the end of the over, 1 for 25. Australia off to a very confident start. Yes, Imran, happy Diwali to all of our viewers in India. Imran says, after a horrible World Cup performance, Sri Lanka cricket team got suspended. Yes, that was breaking news, wasn't it? Yeah. Not good. Not good with Sri Lanka there at the moment. And yeah, not really good off the scenes there. John says, I always bang on about it, but these games that don't affect the overall outcome are important for momentum and confidence. That's right, John. Look, there's nothing riding on the game, really, because it's a dead rubber, essentially. Bangladesh are knocked out. Australia have qualified. So it's all about just, for Australia, just being clinical, ticking off the things with the batting and bowling before the semi-final. So they get the job done here. That will definitely boost the confidence in the semi-final against South Africa next Thursday, which will be in Kolkata at Eden Gardens. Tuscan in. This one short, cut by Warner to Point, who misfields, and they'll get a single. Imran says it's not looking good for Pakistan. 1 for 82 and 13.3. Yes, Pakistan versus England. That's the second game. It's a double-headed today. Australia and Bangladesh is the first game, and obviously Pakistan and England. Pakistan, so you're telling me there's a chance, but there's a slim chance for Pakistan to qualify for the semis. It's a very impossible equation for net run rate. So New Zealand will be feeling comfortable at the moment with their win against Sri Lanka, which was pretty convincing. Tuscan in, this one full. Marsh defends. There's no run. And John says, what happened with Sri Lanka? Well, John, what happened is that the board, political interference, John, that's why Sri Lanka, the cricket board, and Sri Lanka got suspended because of that. Because in the ICC, it's one of those rules where you can't have the government of your country affecting your cricket board and your cricket. So that's what happened there, John, if you're wondering. So that's why Sri Lankan cricket is under this sort of situation. So that's not good after a very difficult World Cup for them. Tuscan in, this one defended by March to the leg side, no run. So Australia off to a good start. They lost the wicket of Travis Head, who chopped on. But since Marsh has arrived to the crease, Australia looked pretty good. He's hit 3 boundaries. He's 12 off 8. Warner's 4 off 8. Bangladesh, their bowling hasn't really performed in this World Cup. It's been up and down. And they've had a pretty tough World Cup on a personal level. Tuscan in, this one full, driven by Marsh, but only to mid-off, and there's no run. Mitchell Marsh looking to stamp his authority. As always, Imran says, I think Bangladesh's bowling coach will be fired after this game. Well, Imran, it's Alan Donald. He's the bowling coach. You know, he was pretty good. Alan Donald, pretty fast. Took over 300 wickets for South Africa. He's the bowling coach of Bangladesh. I don't think he'll be fired. Tuscan is in. This one full, driven over the top of mid-off, down to the boundary for 4 from Marsh. Lofted that over mid-off for 4. Excellent shot from Marsh. Over-pitched by Tuscan and got the treatment. He's hit 4 fours now. Mitchell Marsh, 4 boundaries. And he's looking to cash in this power play. John says, I'll have to Google the details later for that. Yeah, John, it's quite complicated. But that's the sort of the reason behind it, really. So, yeah, difficult at the moment for Sri Lankan cricket. Imran says West Indies will be going to Australia in January. Yes, they will be. A couple of test matches, T20s and ODIs. This one short from Ahmed and pulled magnificently over deep square leg for 6 from Marsh. He's off to a flyer. That's not a bad way to end the over. It's the end of the over, 1 for 36. You can't bowl short to Mitchell Marsh, otherwise he's going to punish you, and that's what happened. A glorious pull shot from Mitchell Marsh to put the pressure back on Tuscan Ahmed. Bangladesh under a little bit of pressure here at the start of this run chase. Imran says the only Asian team who will not make it to the Champions Trophy is Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. It looks like that. Well, you could discount Sri Lanka because they didn't quite end off this World Cup the way they wanted, losing against Bangladesh and lost against New Zealand quite badly. So Mehdi Hassan is in. And this one full defended by Warner, and there's no run. Mitchell Marsh off to a flyer. He's 22 of 11. And he's decided to put the accelerator on in the power play. Australia break the back of this run chase early on. Mahedi in. And this one worked to point by Warner, and there's no run. David Warner looking just to get into his groove. He's 4 off 10. He's given it over to Mitchell Marsh, who's got off to a very good start. Mahedi in. This one down the leg side. It's called a wide. John says, can't afford to bowl short on this pitch unless it's a slow ball. It's a slower bouncer. That's right, John. It's such a good surface. I think Bangladesh don't quite have enough, obviously. 307. So they're under pressure early, Bangladesh. Mahedi in. This one down the leg side. Worked off the pads by Warner to backwards square leg, and he'll pick up a single. He moves on to 5 off 11. Imran says, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to talk about my home team, but if the West Indies was in this World Cup, we would have had only one game. Yeah, the West Indies. Yeah, it was a bit weird without the West Indies in the World Cup. 2-time winners, of course, and didn't qualify for the tournament, I'm afraid. Well, I don't think anyone was surprised by that. Mehdi Hassan in. This one full defended by Marsh, no run. And Imran says, after a disappointing World Cup performance by England, they'll be coming to the Caribbean in December. Yeah, that's their next assignment. Mahedi in. And this one a play and a miss by Marsh. Through to the keeper, no run. Bangladesh. Their last game of this World Cup before they go home. Not very far away. Only a short journey. Mahedi in. And this one played out to the offside by Marsh to cover, and there's no run. Out of the over, 1 for 38. So Australia off to a very good start. Nothing really troubling them, really. Pitch looks pretty good. The sun's out still. It's a day game here in Pune. And Australia look pretty content on scoring these runs. So Australia 138 after 6. Going to be change of the bowling. It's going to be Nassam, the spinner, coming into the attack. He's picked up 12 wickets in his ODI career, average of 38. Best of 3 for 19. He's only played 15 matches. So early on in his career, And those numbers are quite young and fresh. So we'll be hoping to add to them in the years to come. So he's going to bowl. Bangladesh do have a spin-heavy attack today, but not much turn on the surface. Nassam in. This one, a play and a miss by Warner. Through to the keeper, no run. That's not a bad start from Nassam. Imran says today's the final in the West Indies CG United Super 50 tournament. And Imran says after this World Cup, New Zealand will have to fly straight over to Bangladesh. Yep, a lot of the teams will go home and get ready for the other tours that they have. Australia will be staying in India, of course, because they've got a T20 series against India after this World Cup, which is 5 games. So that's just the way the international calendar is, I suppose. After a long tournament, you're off again. Nassam in. This one short, pulled by Warner. And he will pull it to the deep mid-wicket boundary for 4. Just a little bit too short from Nassam. Can't afford a bowl short on this pitch. It just sat up nicely. Warner was able to pull it through deep mid-wicket to the boundary for 4. And Bangladesh already being put under some pressure early on in this run chase. And this is still a pretty good surface. Nice and flat. Nassam is in. And this one defended by Warner. Back to Nassam for no run. 1 for 42 Australia. So they're not far away from reaching the half century in this power play of the first 10 overs. And Nassam in. And this one played out by Warner to cover for no run. Imran says the West Indies do not have to worry about qualifying for next year's T20 World Cup because we have already qualified. Yes, the host nation automatically qualified. Nassam in. This one swept by Warner around the corner, down a deep backward square leg for 4. Another boundary for David Warner. Couple of boundaries for Nassam in the over. Not a good start in his first over. This one down the leg side. It was a full toss and Warner just helped it on its way. It was an easy shot. Got to put away those full tosses. And he was dispatched Nassam. That was a poor delivery down the leg side. Already Bangladesh under pressure. Nassam is in. This one swept by Warner through square leg. And the fielder out there in the deep on the leg side will cut it off for 2. Good running by Warner. Not a bad way to end the over. End of the over, it's 1 for 48. After 7. 10 from that over from Nassam, an expensive over. As Australia look to pile on the runs in this first power play. John says, the schedule for international matches is ridiculous and needs to be thinned out. No wonder players are exhausted. Yeah, it is quite busy, actually. So there's a lot of cricket on. The schedule, I don't know if we can fix it, John. I think it's too late to fix it. I think we've already gone into territory that we can't really resolve. So it is maybe a little bit too late to fix the problems that have already come out with the schedule. Mehedi in. This one full and Marsh works it down the ground to deep long on for a single. He moves on to 23. Warner is on 15. Imran says, after India and Australia will be playing against Pakistan at home. Travis said it was the first wicket to fall today, chopping on to the stumps. But since then, Warner and Marsh have combined well, and they've kept the scoring up. Imran says, I would like to see America and Canada in the same group. Yes. Mehedi in, this one down the leg side, and Warner works it out to a short fine leg for no run. Mehedi in, this one full, and Warner plays it out to cover. And there is no run. And Imran says, in next year's World Cup. Well, yeah. So once all the teams qualified, it'll be interesting to see who gets grouped in where for that T20 World Cup next year in the Caribbean and the USA. Mehedi in, this one tossed up. Warner trying to launch this down the ground, doesn't time it, hits him onto the pad, and there's no run. Wanted to go downtown there, David Warner. Got an inside edge, and in the end, just hit him on the back leg. Mehedi in, this one worked by Warner to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Not a bad over from Mehedi Hassan, but not enough of these overs from Bangladesh. They've gone for runs. Tuscan Ahmed's been expensive. Nassam in the last over went for 10. Already Mehedi Hassan's 18 from his 4. Just about to complete it as he is in now. And Warner plays it back to the bowler for no run. It's the end of the over, 149. So, yeah, I think Bangladesh know that this surface is pretty good and it's going to be a bit of a tough sort of effort to try and restrict Australia. So Australia will be thinking about just taking their time. No need to rush things. Take as long as you want. You got 50 overs. There's no pressure, especially after the last game, which was pressured. Imran says the only teams who still have to qualify is the 2 African countries. Yep. The qualification for that T20 World Cup's wrapping up, and everyone's qualifying in different regions, Europe and Africa and Oceania. But, it should be an interesting T20 World Cup next year. More teams. Be interesting to see how the US public embrace the T20 World Cup. Nassam is in, this one full, and Marsh works it down to deep. Long off for an easy single. Moves on to 24 off 16. Imran says the only... sorry, I've just read that. My mistake. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Imran says New York still has a stadium to build. They do. It won't be a permanent stadium. It'll just be a temporary stadium for the T20 World Cup, but that's been approved. And that should be up and running next year. Nassam in. And this one cut by Warner to backward point. Outside his off stump. And there's no run. 50 up for Australia. So they've made good progress in the power play. 50 runs already. It's not a bad power play with one and a bit overs left. They'll be looking to extend that in the last couple of overs. Nassam is in. This one worked by Warner to to mid on, for a single. And Australia off to a very promising start. Yeah, pretty good start for Australia, and they'll be hoping to be clinical in their performance today with the run chase. Imran says, it is disappointing to see Jamaica did not bid for the World Cup because Jamaica have one of the biggest cricket stadiums in the Caribbean. They do. Sabina Park. Nassam is in. This one full. Defended by Marsh to be offside, and there's no run. Yeah, they do. Sabina Park is in Jamaica, in Kingston. One of the stadiums there. Nassam is in. And Marsh dispatches Nassam over long off for 6. And Mitchell Marsh has said, I'm going to put the foot down in this power play. And that was a very nice cricket shot from Marsh. Played it well, used the feet, got to the pitch of the board and lofted it over the head of long off for 6. That's a pretty good shot. Mitchell Marsh, he can play some lovely shots. And the way he muscles the ball. Good signs for him, good signs for Australia. Nassam is in, and this one full defended by Marsh. Back to the bowler for no run. It's a successful over for Australia. Another expensive one from Nassam. It's the end of the over, 157. Australia on track in this power play to maximise it fully. Not sure how many Bangladesh scored in their first 10 overs, but I think they scored around about 70 or 80. So Australia on track to go past them in this first 10 over period. So Australia well on track. That's good from Australia, just to put the pressure on Bangladesh here. Their spinners have been leaking runs. Tuscan Ahmed, when he bowled, the quick, he leaked some runs as well. Mehidi's in. This one worked by Warner to mid-wicket, no run. Raj says, if England score 200, does it mean Pakistan will have to get it in 4.3 overs? Pretty much. Not going to happen, obviously. Mehedi in, this one defended on the front foot by Warner, no run. Yeah, I think we actually know that they're not going to qualify Pakistan. It was a bit of a tough equation for them. Mehedi is in. This one short, cut by Warner, but only cut to the fielder a point, and there's no run. Silver Rahul says, do umpires actually keep a look at their watches and count the 2 minutes when a batsman is dismissed? That's a very interesting question, Silver Rahul. And I'll answer it after this delivery from Mehdi Hassan, who's in. And Warner plays it out to long off for a single. Well, in the case of international matches, Silver Rahul, the umpires get alerted by the third umpire. So the third umpire will start the timer. So once the batter is dismissed, they'll start the timer. The third umpire will monitor the time and relay that to the on-field umpires. So that's what happened in the case of Angelo Matthews. The third umpire relayed the time to the on-field umpires. In the case of Angelo Matthews, Mehedi's in. This one played out to the offside by Marsh for no run. So to answer your question, Silver Rahul, if it's a game, you play at club cricket, then obviously you look at your watch. But international cricket, you've got the third umpire, so they'll keep track of the time and relay that to you. Dot ball to finish by Mehdi Hassan. End of the over, 158. So I hope that answers your question, Silver Rahul. So in the case of Angelo Matthews the other day, when he was timed out, the umpires did know what the time was. The 2 minutes had exceeded and elapsed, so therefore he was out. So Silver Rahul says, so do all other batsmen make it within 2 minutes, or do many batsmen miss the time but no one appeals? Nobody appeals, Silver Rahul. You know, probably most of the time when batsmen come out to the crease, they probably go over the 2 minutes anyway, but the fielding captain doesn't appeal because timeout is such a rare dismissal. No one really thinks about it. So you're pretty spot on in your comment there. That's probably the general consensus. Nassam is in. And this one played by Warner to mid-off for a quick single. He'll make it. Australia, not a bad power play in the first 10 overs. 58 runs, which is a good start. They'll be looking to build on that in these overs here, in the middle overs. So yeah, because no one really appeals for it because it's a rare dismissal. No one really considers it. But in the case of Shakib Al Hasan in the last game, he appealed. Marais Erasmus said, are you serious? Are you sure? He said, yep. And he said, okay, we have to give him out. Nothing could have been done in that situation. A single to Marsh down to long on. But yeah, it doesn't really happen. No one really thinks about it. No one really thinks about it because it's just a rare dismissal. But it is there with a purpose, the timed out law. Pretty much to keep the game moving. Nassam in, this one short, pulled by Warner to a deep backward square leg. He'll pick up a single. Australia off to a very good start, setting the platform and foundation. So I hope that answers your question, Silver Hall. But under the laws, At the end of the day, he was out. Silver Rahul says, did the ICC make a statement on it? I thought Angela made it within 155. Yeah, they did. Well, obviously you would. They explained what happened. The fourth umpire during the game explained the situation. And at the end of the day, he didn't face up within 2 minutes and he was out. So at the end of the day, it's already out. So, yeah. This one is single by Marsh down to long off. John says, in some 45 plus years of watching, have never seen a timeout. Well, it's happened before. You know, it's not the first time that it's happened in cricket. There have been many instances in first-class cricket that timeout has happened. But obviously, this is the first time it's happened in international cricket. So it is a rare dismissal, like obstructing the field. Doesn't happen that often. Warner plays it out to the offside for a couple of runs to the deep. Good running to end the over. Good over from Australia. It's 1 for 64. Well, there you go, John. There's always a first for everything. But under the laws, he was out and timed out without facing a ball, which is a valuable lesson for everyone. Make sure that you're ready when you come out to bat. Silver Rahul says, is the fourth umpire the same as the match referee? Well, pretty much the fourth umpire, Silver Rahul, is pretty much the fourth umpire. He's just there, not as a match referee. He's there just to make sure both teams are, answering any questions on the boundary line. He's sitting on the boundary line, on the boundary with both teams, making sure that the umpires get their drinks at drinks breaks. So he does more than the match referee does more of the paperwork. The fourth umpire is just ready to be ready just in case something happens to the on-field umpires, and he needs to go in as a reserve. So he's just a sub, really, but he does have some roles and duties to perform, like making sure both teams is doing things to the laws and all that stuff. John says that's what I meant internationally. Yep, and that. There you go. There's always a first for something. And Silver Rahul says, if the Afghan player had held on to Maxwell's catch as Miraz is in, this one full, and Marsh dispatches him past mid-off, down the ground for 4. It's another boundary for Marsh, and he's off to a good start. Silver Rahul, your comment here. Held on to Maxwell's catch. Afghanistan might have been in the semis. That fielder was so bad he has dropped 5 or 6 catches in this tournament. Majib, you got to feel for him. You don't mean to drop a catch, but that was a sitter, and it was a costly one. This one lofted over mid-off for 6. Miraz has been dispatched for 4 and 6. 10 runs off the first 2 balls. Marsh is 42 of 26. And Australia 1 for 74, and it's not even the end of the 12th over. Glorious shot from Marsh. Just in the slot. Not a bad cricket shot. Pretty good from Marsh. Good to see him in the runs before the semi-final against South Africa. That's right, Silver Rahul. Look, Afghanistan, it was the unlosable game. They should have won. And they should have. They had Australia 7 for 91 on the ropes. But I just feel like they just sort of lost their way after that. When Maxwell got going, they just didn't know what to do. The tactics were wrong. The field settings were wrong. The bowling was wrong. They couldn't stop him. And Maxwell just won the game off his own bat. I'm still speechless. I can't believe what I saw a couple of nights ago. I'm still recovering from that. This one played out to the offside. Marsh will pick up a single. But, Majib, you got to feel for him, But I think at the end of the day, he needs to work on his fielding. He's dropped a few catches in this World Cup, Majib, at a similar position. I think he dropped one against Pakistan in the same position at short fine leg. Silver Rahul says, the guy who was sitting there, he was there during the toss, the fourth umpire. No, that's the match referee, Silver Rahul. So the match referee will be the guy at the toss. Miraz is in this one. Cut by Warner. to deep point for a single. So the match referee is at the toss. He will oversee the toss. The fourth umpire is on the boundary line. The third umpire, as you say here, is in the box. So he's up there with the match referee. And then you have the third umpire there, and you have the match referee. They sit next to each other. So I hope that helps, Silver Rahul. And this one defended by Marsh to end the over for a dot ball. It's the end of the over. It's 1 for 76. Expensive over from Miraz. 12 from it. Australia well on top. Bangladesh under pressure early in this run chase. And that 307 score doesn't look enough. John says, Maxi had his fair share of good fortune. You take what you can get. And that's right, John. You need a bit of luck. You need a bit of luck in cricket. And he had some luck. The drop catch, the LBW appeal that was overturned on review. He just had good fortune. And Maxwell was able to capitalize on that. It was quite interesting listening to Glenn Maxwell. I did watch a few interviews he did. And it was quite interesting listening to him talk about the innings and how he went about it. It was quite fascinating. And all Pat and him were doing were just having some fun. You know, they weren't really taking the win seriously. They thought, well, we're going to get bowled out here. We might as well just have some fun. But in the end, they won. So wasn't a bad mindset to have, an attitude. It certainly worked. Silver Rahul says, what is the highest level you have umpired in? Not really that high, Silver Rahul, mainly club cricket. So, you know, not really a high level. As a change in the bowling for Bangladesh, they're going to bring in the Fizz, Mustafisha Rahman. Left arm fast medium, 160 wickets in ODIs. He's played over 101. So he's into the attack now. He's in. This one full. Warner works it off the pads through backward square leg for a couple of runs. They come back for the second. Good running. Come back for 2. So I hope that's answered your question, Silver Rahul. So it's not really a high level, but, you know, it's not a bad level to umpire in, I suppose. But if I wanted to, then I could work my way up, as you do as an umpire. You got to start somewhere. As Rahman is in, this one defended out to backward point by Warner for no run. Silver Rahul says, what is the maximum duration of the match you've umpired? 3 days, 4 days? Pretty much 1 day, Silver Rahul. Mainly, we in the competition I umpire in or play in as a player, we mainly play one day cricket. But now we're starting to get back into 2 day cricket. So mainly 1 during my career. This one's short by the Fizz. Pulled down by Warner down to fine leg for a single. So I hope that's answered your question, Silver Rahul. So, but if I wanted to, I could work my way up. But who knows? Maybe. It's not a bad job umpiring. It's a tough job. But John, you say, a little disappointed with Cricket for Americans post today. More of a rant about media and the bias, etc. You have preferred they actually review the innings. I did watch a little bit of the video today, John. I didn't watch all of it. I skipped to certain parts. And yeah, that's just their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And that's what Nick and Gabe thought about the reaction from it. And I can understand where they're coming from. Of course, people who support Australia and that will say this isn't the best innings ever. But you know, it's just the way it is in cricket. If you play a good innings, that's what people are going to say. Everyone's going to say it's the best innings we've ever seen. And it was, really, because you got to put it into context. It was a match-winning knock. Australia was 7 for 91. He scored 200, Glenn Maxwell. So I can understand you're a little bit disappointed about that, John. But look, Nick and Gabe are from America, and they see things differently, and other things they see in a different lens. So they just weren't comfortable with the whole bias thing or that, which happens. That's all right. That's fine. This one driven through the covers by Marsh. He dispatches it to the boundary for 4. Over pitch by Mustafisa. And good front foot stride into the ball, Marsh. And he punished that through the covers for a boundary. Races to 47. He's nearly to 50. And this has been a very good innings from Marsh. Good to see him playing with confidence and freedom ahead of the semi-final on Thursday. Mustafisa in. This one, full work to the offside. Quick single to cover from Marsh, and he'll pick it up easily to end the 13th over. It's 1 for 84. But, yeah, so that's just what they observed from all the media and all that stuff. Going back to your comment there, John, so I guess everyone sees it differently and all that stuff, so that's fine. That's just the way it is in cricket. You know, if you play good innings and but I suppose when you compare innings, you got to really put it into the context, you know. And you know, every inning's different. You know, could be a match-winning innings, could be an innings to save a game in a test match, or try and get the team out of a jam. You know, there have been some great innings over the game's history. Obviously, there's too many to list, but I can name a few. Miraz in, this one defended by Marsh, no run. It's quite a long list, but I can name a few off the top of my head. Silver Rahul says, is umpiring harder than it looks? Standing for so long seems so tiring. Oh, you definitely need some fitness. You need to train. You need to build up good stamina and endurance. But it's rewarding because you're a part of the game. And that's what I like. Even though if I'm not playing, I can umpire and still be a part of the game, which is you're there as an umpire. Yes, you're not playing, but you're a part of the game. And you're watching the players go about their business. And, you know, some of these international umpires have the best seat in the house. You know, especially the umpires who were umpiring Glenn Maxwell during his epic knock would always remember that. And they will say, I was there umpiring and it was a pretty good knock and I was privileged to be there. This one driven for 4, down to wide long off, a boundary for Warner. And these two are really getting a move on now. Australia 1 for 89, Warner and Marsh. This has been a good partnership. It's well over 50. Bangladesh on the back foot, and they're on the back foot quickly. That score of 307 doesn't look so threatening. You can just see Bangladesh just starting to feel the pressure. This one worked out to a deep point by Warner, and he picks up a single. It's good from Australia. Good clinical batting. That's what they want. Just to be clinical today. Tick off the things that they need to do before the semi-final on Thursday. Try it yourself, Cyril Rahul, if you've umpired. Try it yourself. You know, umpiring, you know, it doesn't have to be for 20 overs, maybe just a few overs, see how you go. But you do need to do some training. You need to do fitness. And obviously the international umpires do some training. You've got to eat well. So there's a lot of work going into international umpiring. It's quite a taxing job. But, you know, someone's got to do it. You need umpires in all sports. Someone's got to do it. But not many people want to try it. It's a dot ball to end the over. It's the end of the over, 1 for 90. Nearly 15 overs completed. Australia are well on track in this run chase. Australia will be very pleased with how things are going at the moment. So Rahul says Maxi might be the best innings ever, but Kapil Dev's 175 and 83 was the best innings never seen. That's right. It was. You know, we will never see another Glenn Maxwell innings like that again because it's such a rare thing. It will never happen again because it doesn't happen. You rarely see that in any form of cricket. that sort of thing happen. You just have to marvel at it and say, well, what an innings. It was incredible. Incredible innings. Absolute innings of, he was in pain and battling cramp. It was just wonderful to watch. To see him battle through that and get the runs and get the job done for Australia. Good running by Warner. Works it out to the offside to deep point for a couple of runs. Always quick and between the wickets and in the field, Warner. So good running. But Kapil Dev's innings, yes, it was the best innings that was never seen because it wasn't on TV. So it's very hard for people to compare that innings to others. But yeah, it was a pretty good innings at the time. It was a different situation. India were batting first against Zimbabwe. They needed to get a score, and they got a score. And they won the game, and they obviously won the World Cup. Another single to Warner. And the score ticking over nicely for Australia. John says, nice to see Davey take a back seat to Marsh this time around. Well, it's better. It's good to see Mitchell Marsh in this mode. He's better when he's looking to score, Mitchell Marsh. We saw in the game against New Zealand where he was just a little bit timid. But today, he's come out with good intent and he's positive, which is good. That's what you want to see from Mitchell Marsh. He's at his best when he's looking to score. Mustafisa in. And this one worked to the offside. Drop and run by Marsh. He'll pick up another single, which will bring up his half century. Well played, Mitchell Marsh. 50 off 37. And he's got Australia off to an absolute cracking start in this run chase. That's the thing. You get on top early in the required run rate. You get that controlled, under control. Get off to a good start, which Australia have done. You can put pressure on Bangladesh, and that's what they're doing. Already 1 for 94, and it's not even the end of the 15th over. So I don't think this game is going to go the full distance at the rate Australia is scoring. This one short, pulled by Warner, down to fine leg for a single when Mustafisa Rahman hasn't really quite got it right in this spell. It's been a little bit wayward, being expensive. Mitchell Marsh, he's playing with good freedom and confidence today. Good to see that. And Warner scoring some runs. And it's good to see Australia just be clinical in the batting, tick off a few things which have been troubling for them in the tournament. And they will be hoping to tick off those areas. Mustafisa in. This one full, driven nicely back down the ground by Marsh, but mid-off will cut it off for a single. But it's been a good over from Australia. Every ball's been scored off. 2 and then 4 singles after that. It's been good, Mitchell Marsh. He's played well. He's played aggressively, positive intent. He's hit 3 sixes and 6 boundaries. Some of the shots he played have been very good. John says, has Fox offered you a commentary contract yet? Haven't heard anything, John. Nothing as yet, but hopefully something soon. This one pulled. Too short from Mustafisa and pulled away to deep backward square leg for 4 from Warner. The 100 is up for Australia to end the 15th over. 15 overs done. It's 1 for 100. Australia well on track to chase down to 307. Not yet, John. I hope they do. But look, yeah, certainly something that I'll be interested in. But it's something that Gabe told me, John. I was having a discussion with Gabe about this, and he said, well, you just need someone just to notice you. That's all. You just need someone to be watching your live stream and say, yes, we'll offer you a contract or something. John says, I know a guy. I'll give him a call. Do you, John? Well, that's great if you know someone. Well, you're just saying that, John. I'm not really sure if you're serious or not, John, but if you know someone, well, please do. You know, definitely help. But nah. Glad that you enjoyed the commentary, John. I do try my best. do the traditional methods, like Richie Benaud used to. Shannon, welcome. You say Australia will get the win. Yeah, they will. They're on track to do that now. 307. They're currently 1 for 100. So you would think Australia will chase down these runs before the 50th over. They're off to a good start. Bangladesh are under the bump. And their bowling has just leaked runs on this pretty good pitch. So we shall see what happens in the remainder of this innings. Miraz is in. And this one, Marsh works down to long on for a single. Yeah, I thought so, John. Now that's all right. But, hopefully an opportunity comes, as they say. Be in the right place at the right time. Mitchell Marsh. He's got off to a flyer. He's scored a half century. Miraz is in. Warner sets off for a single out to deep point. Australia 1 for 102. 307 they're chasing. They should be able to get this job done. John says the fort that counts. Yeah, that's right, John. Yeah. Just hoping that someone will stumble across us and offer us something. And this one defended by Marsh, and there's no run. Shannon says Australia 89%, Bangladesh 11. Yeah, that's pretty much just about right. And this one defended to mid-wicket, no run by Marsh. He's 52 of 40. David Warner 39 of 42. Australia well in control of the run chase. Miraz is in. Marsh plays it out to long on for a single. And there is an easy single for Australia. 3 from it. 1 ball left. A couple of balls left, sorry. In this over. 1 ball left. The score just ticked over. And this one defended by Warner. And there's no run. End of the over, 1 for 103. Australia, 16 overs done. They're well on track, chasing 307. As I said before we started, 307, not enough for Bangladesh. They'll be disappointed. They should have got 340 at one stage. They were looking on track to do that, but many of their batters got in and got out, got starts, didn't convert them. They'll be disappointed now looking at Australia's start. 307 is not really a challenging score. Australia did well to pick it back towards the end. Sean Ammett bowled well. So Australia need a further 204 off 34 to win, and they should do that comfortably now with this start. The other game at Eden Gardens, England and Pakistan. Nearly halfway in that game in the first innings. England are 2 for 134. Against Pakistan, batting first, Ben Stokes is on 10, Joe Root is on 19. So it must have been a very good opening partnership between Bairstow and Malan. Let's have a look. And it was. Malan made 31 before he was dismissed, and Johnny Bairstow made 59. First wicket fell at 82, second one at 102. So Pakistan in that game against England, well, pretty much they're out of the semi-finals. It's going to be impossible for them to qualify with the net run rate equations. But I suppose it's important. You got to make sure you're on top of the net run rate. Otherwise, this is what happens. So, to be honest, the last few games of this group stage are pretty much games that are not really going to impact on the semi-finals at all. So, a little bit tedious, but that's just the way it is. And Jihan says the current crop of commentators talk for something like 30 or 40 minutes, then take a break. You go for hours, so stamina is on your side. Agree with Jihan, though. Well, thank you, John. Well, it's easy when you have someone else here to talk, obviously. Then you stop talking, you have a bit of a break. But to be honest, we're not going to do the whole innings today because my voice is a little bit still recovering from the other night, obviously, after that Glenn Maxwell performance. It's taken it a little bit out of my voice. So, well, that's the thing. If you're streaming and you're by yourself, you just have to talk, really, because there's nothing else you can do. Otherwise, you're just going to have silence. The current partnership is 94 off 83. Australia 1 for 106. So I think we can pretty much say Australia have got this. It's not done yet, but they've set the platform. The foundation is set. So it's now just to finish off the job. Musvisa in. And this one defended by Warner to backward point, and there's no run. Yeah, and usually when you commentate, you usually have half an hour spells, and then you change over and you have breaks. But here, we just go for the full duration. So yeah, I've built up the stamina. Musvisa in. This one a quick single by Warner to mid-on. He moves on to 40 or 45. Australia 56 of 45. Sorry, Marsh is 56 of 45. David Warner 40 or 45. Partnership nearly 100. It's 95, and it's 1 for 107. So Australia would need 1 for 107. They need 307 to win. So pretty much 206 runs to win. Sorry, 201. Sorry. This one full, defended by Marsh, and there's no run. It's the end of the over. 1 for 107, 17 done. $16 overs completed. Australia nearly halfway, so they're on track to get the runs. John says, hazard a guess about the final 11 for South Africa, assuming everyone is fit. Pretty much what it was in the last game, I think, John. I think, obviously, Stark rested today. Maxwell rested, so they'll come back. Be interesting to see what they do with Labuschagne and Stoinis. One of them will probably have to miss out. I don't know who, but I'll probably tend to go with Marcus Stoinis, to be honest. Miraz is in. And this one played out to a backward point by Warner, and there's no run. He took a few wickets today, Marcus Stoinis, but his input in the whole tournament hasn't been at his best. So I think you keep Marnus in. I know the people would say, oh, leave him out for Smith. This one worked to the offside, quick single by Warner. But yeah, you would think the same 11 that they had against South Africa, but against Afghanistan. But it's just a matter of when do they keep Labuschagne or Stoinis, or they get one of those out. That's the question. Miraz is in. This one defended the offside by Marsh, and there's no run. So that's a tough call there for Australia. Miraz in. And this one played out to a third man off the outside edge by Marsh. No run. Australia 1 for 108. Sorry, that was a single there by Marsh. This one stopped a cover for no run. David Warner trying to go through the offside, but couldn't get through the cover fielder. John says, I'm struggling with Green or Stoinis. Dumping Marnus, I just can't drop. No, I don't think Cameron Green will come back in. I think it's just either Stoinis or Labuschagne, because obviously Maxwell will have to come back in. So he'll come back in, and then you have to drop someone else there. That's a single to end the over. It's 1 for 110. So, so let's try and see what a potential 11 could be. Well, obviously Warner and Head, that's 2. Marsh at 3. And at 4, you have, I'm going to say Labuschagne. At 5, you have Inglis. And then 6, you have Maxwell. 7, be interesting, I think. Probably go with, well, yeah, just trying to think. But I did hear that, yes, well, they have to make a call there with Storness or Marnus. You would think that they did talk about Marnus being dropped. But after today, Marnus fielded well. He bowled well. He fielded well. So he does add a lot with his fielding. He scored some runs. Probably not as much as he would have wanted. So it'll be interesting to see who makes it in for that semi-final against South Africa. You've got to make the tough calls there in a semi-final. So, but I think at the end of the day, pick your best 11, I think. So Drinks, Australia won for 110 here at Pune. 18 overs done. They're chasing 306, 307 to win. The run rate's under control. Need 197 off 32. This partnership between Warner and Marsh has really exploded for Australia. 98 for the second wicket partnership. And this partnership is pretty much breaking the back of this run chase here in Pune. And that was Drinks and Australia. They're about to get ready after Drinks here in Pune. So we'll be here for another few overs. And Australia well on track to pretty much chase down these runs. They've got a good foundation and platform. 1 for 110, chasing 307. So they pretty much got it under control. Bangladesh under some pressure with the ball, just leaking some runs, and it's been a pretty good batting surface. It's not too many gremlins or demons in the surface. It's pretty much flat as a tack. But good for Marsh. Good to see him playing with some good aggressive approach, really. Game against New Zealand, he looked a little bit off, Marsh, and then obviously went home for family reasons, came back, missed out against Afghanistan. Well, he got 20 odd. He was the second highest scorer against Afghanistan, Marsh, after Maxwell made 201. So he'll be eyeing off a century. You can definitely get that, and it'll be good for his confidence if he can get that 100. David Warner approaching his half century. He's only 8 runs away. So Nasum to continue after Drinks. This one short, outside off stump, and Warner works it through covers for at least 2. Could be a boundary, and it will be 4. Into the rope for 4. Warner races to 46. Not a bad start from Australia after Drinks. And Australia won for 114. It's good from Warner. A little bit too short from Nasum outside off stump. And Warner just played that out nicely through the covers for 4. And Australia looking to wrap this up as quickly as they can. Nasum is in, and this one worked off the pads. Through the leg side from Warner, through square leg for a single. He moves on to 47. 3 ones away from a half century. Marsh is 57, Warner 47. The 100-run partnership is up. Of 94 balls, 103. is a terrific knock in this partnership. That one defended by Marsh, and there is no run. John says, this is my 11. One ahead, Marsh, Smith, Marnus, Inglis, Maxwell, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood, Samper. There, I said it. I think many people would agree with you there, John. Obviously, I don't think it's a bad thing to leave out Marcus Stoinis, I don't think. You could go with that. You could leave Stoinis out, play Labuschagne. That's how he stays in the 11. Australia have got enough bowling options, so I think that's what many people would say. Now, Sermin, this one's swept down to fine leg by Marsh. He won't get to the boundary. Pick up 2. Good running. He moves on to 59. Yeah, but I tend to agree with you there, John, with that 11. That's not a bad 11, I don't think. I think that's a good 11 for Australia. I think the important thing is just to pick your best 11 for a semi-final. And I don't think Marcus Stoinis is in the best 11 at this stage, but he's playing because he sort of needs to at this stage. This one worked out to the offside. A single by Marsh. He moves on to 60. Shannon says David Warner 3 away from the half century. He is. He's 47. He's on strike now. Last ball of the 19th. And Australia will be looking to get it done here. Nasum in. This one reverse swept by Warner for 4. Down to third man for a boundary. It will bring up David Warner's half century. Not a bad way to end the over. It's 1 for 122. David Warner brings up his half century in style. 1 for 122. 19 overs completed. Australia well on track to chase down 307. Not a bad reverse sweep there from Dave Warner. Picks up a boundary, brings up his half century in style. And Australia just looking to finish this in a counter, you would think now. Pretty much on track to get this done. Bangladesh looking a little bit concerned with the rate of scoring from this partnership. Tuscan Ahmed, 3 overs, 21 for a wicket. Picked up Travis Head in that spell of bowling before he was taken off. So he's back into the attack, and he's going to be bowling to Marsh. He's in now. And this one defended by Marsh on the front foot, and there's no run. Well, this is good from Australia. Good solid second wicket partnership over 100 runs, but also just one good partnership just to break the back of this run chase. And now they're starting to do that. Already 1 for 122. They've set the platform of foundation. And here's Tuscan. He's in. And this one full pushed to mid-off for a quick single by Marsh. He'll make it home easily. He moves on to 61. Australia 1 for 123. John says, the only problem with my 11 is that Maxwell and Head would have to fill the 5th bowler role. Yes, you do miss out another seam option. So I think they'll stick with the same 11 against Afghanistan with Stoinis in the 11. I think they'll stick with that. Obviously, Steve Smith is back in the side now, so who do you drop? Obviously, so and John says with Marsh, forgot him. Yeah, Mitchell Marsh has had other option as well. This one's short and then pulled by Warner off Tuscan down to a deep square leg for a single. Yeah, pretty easy now for Australia. Just pretty content with the scoring at the moment. The good rate of scoring has brought them ahead in this game. And you would think for Bangladesh, a 307 score, not really looking enough at this present time. Not a bad score. Anything over 300 is good, but they left a few runs out there. Tuscan in this one played out to deep mid on for a single from Marsh. And Australia just doing it comfortably in singles, and that's all they need to do. Just rotate the strike, pick up the singles, the ones and twos. You're ahead of the game at this stage. And you are pretty much ahead, and you don't need to worry about anything with run rate pressure or anything like that. Required run rate's already under control. Tuscan in, this one full, and Warner plays it out to deep mid on, and there's no run. Tuscan in, this one full. And defended by Warner to cover for no run. Not a bad over from Tuscan, just a 3 from it. And the error, it's 1 for 125. 20 overs done. Australia doing it easily at the moment. Well ahead in this run chase. So good to see Australia just chasing down these runs in a clinical sort of fashion, really, because that's what they needed to do in this game today. And they needed just to be clinical in their performance today. Make sure they get the job done, tick off a few boxes before South Africa. Sam will continue. None for 36 from his 4. He's been expensive today. And he's going to be bowling now to Marsh. He's in, and this one defended by Nassim. Sorry, defended by Marsh, and there's no run. He's 62 or 55. David Warner, 52 or 55. So they're scoring at a good rate, good run rate, and they're scoring quickly. Nassim in, this one swept by Marsh to deep backward square leg for 4. Excellent sweep shot. Got down low, made sure he hit it down into the ground with that sweep shot. You can easily get a top edge if you don't really time the shot well or miss it and get out LBW. But Marsh swept that nicely. Timed it well, found the gap, 4 runs. He moves on. Closer and closer to a century. Nassim in, this one driven outside off stump by Marsh to cover. He'll pick up a single. So he's on track for his 2nd century of this World Cup, Mitchell Marsh. He's already got one. That was against Pakistan in the MCA Stadium in Bengaluru a few weeks ago, where he had that pretty good opening partnership with David Warner. Opening partnership of well over 200 runs. Now batting at number 3 today, but I think it's a good knock from Marsh today. He's at his best when he's looking to score, and that's what we've seen today. He's played some good shots, hasn't really been bogged down. He's rotated the strike nicely, and that's why Australia are in this good position at 1 for 130. Nassim is in, and then this one, swept by Warner to short fine leg. There was an appeal for LBW, probably came off the pad, but I think Warner got a bit of bat on that. And in the end, there's no run. Let's have a look. Yeah, it was down the leg side anyway. Yeah. Clearly not out. No problems there for Warner. Nassim is in, and this one. It's played out to mid-on for no run by Warner. Not happy with that shot, but into the over 1 for 130. 21 overs done. Thanks everyone for joining us. We'll be here for another couple of overs or two before we sign off. As I said, we're not doing the whole innings, but we will be back for the semi-finals next week on Wednesday and Thursday of this World Cup. John says, well, we've gone further than I thought we would. They should be battle ready and match fit. Nothing wrong with scrappy wins, builds character. That's right, John. I think, well, they need 177 from 29, so I think Australia will comfortably get the runs now. Bangladesh under severe pressure. And they've just leaked runs, and they just haven't built pressure. Here's Tuscan, he's in. This one traps Marsh on the pads. There's an appeal for LBW, but given not out, and there's no run. Bit of height. And that one clearly going over. Yeah, no, but I think Australia needed a good run chase today just to build the confidence going into the game against South Africa, which I think will put them in good stead. And a semi-final against South Africa, anything can happen, as we know. South Africa have had their battles in semi-finals over the years, especially against Australia. Tuscan in, this one trickles out to the leg side. Marsh attempted to play at this ball, probably swing and a miss, and probably collected the pad. Nope, in the end, it was an inside edge for a single. He moves on to 68. Of 59, Australia 52, of 58 for David Warner. This partnership has helped them boss the game. They're miles ahead. Bangladesh just struggling at the moment. Here's Tuscan. He's in again. This one full. Traps Warner. There's an appeal for LBW from Tuscan, probably going down the leg side at first. The umpire was unmoved, probably going down the leg side. There's a consultation for a review. I won't be... Oh, they've gone upstairs. They've gone upstairs for that LBW. Look, going down the leg side to me, Tuscan was adamant in his appeal. He was convinced, but I don't think anyone else was convinced. I don't think David Warner's too fussed. Probably missing leg stump. The angle is the problem. A review and hope for Bangladesh in this situation. Understandable that they've gone upstairs for the review, but I think it's not out. Yeah. Clearly missing leg stump by miles. So I don't think we need to go to the ball tracking for that. That's clearly missed the leg stump. It probably will miss another set of stumps as well. You can see middle and off stump, and you can see where David Warner's front leg is in relation to the stumps. It's well outside leg. So it's going down anyway with the angle, and that's the case there. Clearly outside the line of leg stump, and it's missing leg. A poor review from Bangladesh. Clearly going down the leg side. David Warner knew straight away. Good decision by Murray Erasmus. And desperation for Bangladesh with that review. That's not their best. Clearly going down the leg side. Tuscan in. This one full, driven by Warner. Out to deep cover. He does the fielding. And they'll just pick up a single. Warner wanted two, but in the end, they settle for the single, which is the right option. Don't risk a run out at this stage of the game. Don't need to, given how well Australia have started in this match. John says that missed the whole fence with the stumps painted on. It did, John. It would have missed another set of stumps as well. Clearly going down the leg side. It was a poor review from Bangladesh. Understandable that a team would review, given that they need a wicket badly. Tuscan in. And this one defended by Marsh to the leg side, and there's no run. There was a throw at the bowler's end. Warner was out of his crease, but he made it home. And No run in the end. Well, we're slowly getting towards the end of this World Cup. We're going to finish the group stage tomorrow. Obviously, 2 games today. Obviously, Australia and Bangladesh now, and England and Pakistan. And then tomorrow we've got India and the Netherlands, which is the last game of this World Cup group stage. And then we're into the semi-finals next week. Obviously, first semi-final, India and New Zealand. That will be in Mumbai. And then the second one on Thursday, it's Australia and South Africa. And that will be from Eden Gardens in Kolkata, which should be a very good game. It's the end of the over. Swing and a miss there from Marsh, but it's a dot ball. And Australia keep rocketing along. So we're in for 2 very good semi-finals. Obviously, India, the host nation, looking to go through to the final, which they did in 2011. Can they do it in 2023? It'd be interesting in a knockout. They've done well in the group stage. You would think they'll win tomorrow against the Netherlands. They'll go undefeated. I don't think the Netherlands have it in them to win against India. You never know. They could do something miraculously special, but you would think India will win, probably win all their 9 games, which they should. But it's all well and good finishing on top in the group stage, but can you win where it counts under pressure? But they are the team to beat. Musfisa Rahman's in. This one full. And he's out. Oh, Warner. He hit it straight to him. I thought it bounced. No, it didn't. It carried to mid-on. And Warner can't believe it. He's picked out the fielder at mid-on, and he's out. Well, yes, he did chip it up to mid-on. For a moment there, I thought it bounced. I didn't see until I saw the celebration. Now the replay, it easily carried to him. For a moment there, I thought David Warner just hit it into the ground and it just boggled out to a mid-on. Bump ball, but it wasn't. He's got to go, but he did his job, Warner. He set the platform and foundation for Australia. Did his job. A good innings comes to an end. 53 for him. It's 2 for 132, and he's done his job. Good partnership. He set the foundation. And for Smith, who comes out now to finish off the job. Yeah, not happy with that shot, David Warner. He picked out the fielder, but he shouldn't be disappointed, really. Good contribution, played his part. And Australia were off to a good start in the run chase. So, yeah, they're bossing the game at the moment. So, disappointed. He would have liked to score more runs, but no, did his role. Shannon says, but Australia are trying to get a 6th World Cup. They are. They're on track to do that if they can. They still have to win that semi-final against South Africa, which they've got a bit of history, Australia and South Africa in semi-finals, as we know. Well, Stephen Smith is the new batter. He's back after vertigo. Ruled him out of the last game against Afghanistan. And he's back. So he'll be hoping to finish off the job here with Marsh. Australia 2 for 132. They're well on track to chase down 307 on this pretty placid surface, not really doing much. It was just an error from Warner, who chipped it straight to mid-on. Here's Mustafisa into Smith. This one full outside off stumps, but Smith drives to cover, and there's no run. Yeah, so Australia will be looking to just work it in the gaps here. They're ahead of the run rate. They're ahead at this stage against Bangladesh in comparison. Yeah, David Warner disappointed. Just chipped it straight to mid-on. He couldn't believe that he did that. So a wicket for Bangladesh, but they're not out of the woods yet. Musavisa in. This one on leg stump. And Smith, as he does, works it through square leg for an easy single. And he's off the mark, which is a good feeling as a batter. Getting that first run, you want to be off the mark. Maybe just a lack of pace. Maybe Mustafisa took the pace off. Maybe just Warner just picked out the fielder, didn't really get enough elevation on that, which was the case. He hit it straight to mid-on, down his throat. John says, Australia-New Zealand final. I hope so, John. Repeat of 2015, bring it on. Mustafisa in. This one driven by Marsh. It was full, down to a long off for a single. Well, we all know what happened in 2015 with the final, Australia-New Zealand. Could be. New Zealand have a good record against India in semi-finals. They won the semi-final in 2019 that went for 2 days at Old Trafford. And John says, got to support the underdogs. Yes, I'll definitely be going for New Zealand. That's for sure. They may be down and out, New Zealand, over the last few weeks of this tournament, but you can't discount them. India will know that. And it's a semi-final. It's the only team that's going to beat India is India. They're going to beat themselves, really. This one short by Mustafisa, pulled by Smith down to fine leg for an easy single. He moves on to 2 off 3, so he's into his work. And Marsh is 69 off 62. As Australia are well in control of this run chase, chasing 307. They've got plenty of time. They're nearly halfway of the innings. And they're well on track to chase down this score of 307. Still a pretty good surface, pretty good pitch here in Pune. Mustafisa in. This one full. Driven by Marsh. Beats cover. It'll race away to the boundary for 4. Not a bad way to end the over from Marsh. It's the end of the over. It's 2 for 139 after 23. Nearly halfway. And Australia well in control of this run chase. Very nice shot again from Marsh. Nice drive for the covers, as we've seen from him on plenty of occasions in this innings. And he'll be delighted with how he's batting here. John says, yep, India would be unbackable favourites. Pressure, pretty much. That's what I said, John. The only team that will beat India is themselves. They have destiny in their own hands. It's their World Cup to lose, pretty much. But you can't discount New Zealand, and you can't discount a knockout match. Anything can happen. We all know that. So just because India have done very well, it's great that you finished on top in the group stage, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't win the semi-final or you win the World Cup. It doesn't mean anything. So the only team to do that was Australia, of course. In 2003-7, they went undefeated and won both World Cups, obviously. But they were on a different league altogether. Tuscan is in. This one worked to the offside by Smith for an easy single. Australia 2 for 140. So well in control, Australia. You would think they should be able to get the runs from here. But I think everyone's looking forward to the semis, John, after a very long tournament. It's been nearly 6 weeks, and I think everyone would like a break. And then we're back to reality. But I don't think everyone wants this World Cup to end. It's the showpiece event in world cricket, but it's coming to a close. Tuscan is in. This one full. Marsh drives to mid-off. There's no run. Oh, yes, that famous catch, Herschel Gibbs, dropping Steve Waugh. Well, we all know how that ended. Tuscan is in. This one on the pad. So Marsh beats short fine leg, goes past Mustafisa Rahman at fine leg for 4. Into the boundary, another boundary for him. He's 77, Marsh, and he's rocketing along to his second century of this World Cup. Yeah, just a little bit too leg side there from Mustafisa. And Marsh was able to get inside the line and work it down a fine leg for 4, which was a pretty easy shot in the end. Yeah, John. Australia and India, the 5 T20s, yeah. And you say, I'll read about it the next day. Yeah, I think everyone will be the same like that as well. And this one defended by Marsh to cover no run. Yeah, but a good opportunity for Matthew Wade. You know, he has an opportunity to captain Australia, which is pretty good for him, obviously, getting towards the end of his career. So really, at the end of the day, that's just for the T20 World Cup, really. But, after a World Cup, well, that's the way world cricket is. You're on the road again, and for Australia, they're going to be in India for a very long time. So, oh, well, that's just the way it is in world cricket these days. Tuscan is in. This one defended to cover again by Marsh. No run. Yeah, David Warner, disappointed that he picked out the fielder at mid-on. He was destined for a big score today. But, you know, Steve Smith, he can do his job. He can help Mitchell Marsh rotate the strike, get into some form. John says pointless series. Well, it pretty much is, John, really. The only thing I could think of is the T20 World Cup next year in the Caribbean, USA, but it's just the way it is, really. These things have to be done. This one, a quick single by Marsh to the offside. He moves on to 78 to win the over. And Australia are comfortable at the moment. Nothing really challenging from the pitch. That's pretty flat and just easing themselves to this target. That's all they need to do. It's like South Africa against Afghanistan yesterday. When they chase down those runs, South Africa, it's all about being clinical and getting the job done. That's what Australia needed. You just be clinical, get the job done, and doesn't matter how long you do it in, how quickly. Nearly halfway, they're 2 for 145, so they need another 160 odd or something like that, or 50. So they should do it easily. Run rate, not a problem. 2 for 145. 24 overs completed as Mustafisa continues. He's in. This one, full. Marsh drives through the covers for another boundary, beats the sweeper, 4 runs, and he moves on to the 80s. It's been good batting from Mitchell Marsh. He's 82 now. Australia 1 short of the 150. Excellent drive from Marsh for the covers. 2 full from Mustafisa. John says, long way out from that. And both India and Australia need to go into that test series mode first. Yeah, well, I suppose Australia are not playing their full-strength team, obviously, in that series. This one defended by Marsh to the offside, no run. So, obviously, Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, they're not playing that T20 series. Very interesting that Steve Smith is playing in that series. I don't know why. David Warner is as well. And I think India will be the same as well. I think they'll rest most of their players that have played in this World Cup, obviously. So both teams will try different players. And it doesn't really matter who wins or loses, really, because it doesn't really count towards anything in terms of a trophy or anything. Mustafisa in this one. Worked by Marsh to deep mid off, and he'll pick up a single. The 150 is up for Australia for 2, nearly halfway. Well on track to chase 307. Marsh is up and running, 83 off 71. And Smith has just arrived at the crease. He's 3 off 4, but he will take his time. You know, he's a very seasoned campaigner, so he'll take his time to get in and work the ball around and give the strike to Marsh, which is important. And also important as well for Smith, just to score some runs himself before that semi-final on Thursday. Mustafisa in, this one full and driven back by Smith to the bowler, and there's no run. Good to see Steve Smith back, recovering from his vertigo. It's not a nice feeling when you experience those sort of episodes with dizzy spells, but he seems to be okay. And he's probably gone past the worst of it. But opportunity for him just to get back into some rhythm before Thursday in that semi-final against South Africa. Mustafiza in. This one on the pads, and Smith easily works it off the pads through square leg for an easy single, as he always does. Just too easy. Can't bowl straight to Smith. He just whips you away every day of the week in that square leg mid-wicket region, even behind square as well if you get a little bit too straight. All the time in the world. Just opens the face off the bat. Just never misses. This is good hand-eye coordination, Smith. Here's Mustafiza in for the last ball of the over. It's into Marsh. This one defended by Marsh comfortably, and there's no run. It's the end of the over, 2 for 151. Halfway, and Australia well on track to chase down these runs. 2 for 151, 25 overs completed. We'll be here for another couple of overs, and then we'll say goodbye. And then we'll see you back next week for the semi-finals of this World Cup. Semi-finals. And Australia, they just need a further 156 off 25. So they should do it easily in the end. The other game, England and Pakistan. England doing pretty well, actually. 2 for 209 into the 36 over against Pakistan in Kolkata. Partnership of 101 between Stokes and Root. Stokes 67, Root 37. So Ben Stokes on track for back-to-back centuries. He got one against the Netherlands, which was here in Pune a couple of days ago. But a little bit too late for England in their last group game of the tournament. There's still a long way to go in that match. It's only the first innings. But back here in Pune, in the second innings, Australia chasing 307. Well on track to achieve that. 2 for 151. $25 overs done, 2 for 151, and everything seems to be going well for Australia. Miraz is in, this one full. Smith works it to long on for an easy single, just picking off the ones and twos. If Australia keep doing that, well, they'll chase down the runs in the end. So 2 for 152, they're in a good position. Bangladesh on the back foot. Mitchell Marsh, can he get a century? He's on 83 of 72. He's batted well today. So Miraz is in now. This one, Marsh works it out to wide, long off, and he'll pick up a single. 84 now for Marsh. Miraz is in, and this one worked again by Smith. Down to long on for an easy single. Mehdi Hassan not happy with that single. Kicks the ground in disappointment. Here's Miraz. He's in. And Marsh dispatches him down the ground for a maximum. He's into the 90s. 10 away from a century, Mitchell Marsh. That one easily dispatched. Hit through the line. 90 of 74. And Mitchell Marsh is 10 runs away from his second World Cup century in this tournament. That was 90 meters down the ground. He just launched that into the crowd. Over long off for 6. And it wasn't taken in the crowd. They tried. Miraz is in. And this one, Marsh works. Well, in the end, they don't run. Steve Smith collided into Mraz, who was trying to field the ball. So a bit of cricket team etiquette there from Smith, just saying, we won't take the run because I impeded Mraz trying to field the ball. Mraz in, this one short, pulled superbly for 4 by Marsh. An expensive over from Mraz. It's the end of the over, 2 for 164. Mitchell Marsh is 6 runs away from his second century. 2 for 164, Australia. Well on track. Mitchell Marsh going downtown in this over. And pretty much in control. Australia just need 156 from Mitchell Marsh, 343 runs in this World Cup. He's scored pretty well. So Australia need 143 off 24. The required rate's 5 and over. The current run rate is 6.3, so run a ball. So the run rate's not a problem. And they're well on track. Pretty much run a ball, 143 off 144 deliveries. They're on track to, really get over the line comfortably, really. Probably don't have to bat the 50 overs. Dot ball from Nassam, first up to Smith, and that defended by Smith. Nassam is in, and this one outside edge from Smith to short third man, and there's no run. Shannon says at this rate, Australia will get the job done. Yeah, they're in a good position, comfortably. It looks a pretty good pitch, so yeah, not a problem. They'll get over the line. Nassam in, and Smith works it to long off for an easy single. Rotates the strike. Nassam in. This one worked out to the offside for a single. He moves on to 95. John says, I think we're both hanging around to watch Marsh's ton, then I'll grab it early night. That's right, John. I just want to see if Mitchell Marsh can bring up the century. This one worked down to long on for an easy single. Look, in all seriousness, Australia should get over the line, really. They're well in control of this run chase. It's a pretty good pitch still for batting. So I think we're pretty confident that Australia will get over the line in this one. I think it's pretty obvious. They will do it easily in the end, be clinical about it. But we want to see Mitchell Marsh bring up a century as he works it down to long on for an easy single. 4 away now for Marsh. He's 96. And that's the end of the over, 2 for 168. Two for 168. Can Mitchell Marsh bring it up with a boundary? He is closing in on a second century for him in this World Cup, and it will be pretty good for him to score that century. 96, he needs 4. He can do it in one shot. He took Mehdi Hassan downtown in the last over for a 6 and a boundary. He could do the same in this over to bring up the ton. And be the first century of this match. Bangladesh didn't score a century in their innings. Hirroyd scored 70-odd. Wasn't able to get the 3 figures. So Australia just needs 6 and over. So Mitchell Marsh can bring it up in one shot. So it's going to be Mehdi Hassan to continue. And here we go. He's in now to Marsh. This one a swing and a miss. Through to the keeper, no run. Mitchell Marsh, he's had a pretty wild couple of months, you would say, in international cricket. Brought back into the test side during the Ashes, captain Australia and South Africa. Mahedi in. This one full. Marsh drives down to wide long off. He'll pick up a single. Only 3 runs now. Moves on to 97. That's good. It's good for Marsh. Good to see one of the top order score a century and a big score in a run chase for Australia. That's what they need to do. Well, if Australia win, they're pretty much, well, obviously they were pretty much qualified for the semis in the last game. But if they win today, doesn't really matter. It will definitely boost the confidence going into the semi-final against South Africa on Thursday. Here's Mahedi. He's in. This one worked by Smith. Through the leg side. He'll pick up a single. He moves on to 9. Marsh. 3 runs. Can he bring it up with a boundary? He just needs 3. He can do it in one shot. Either he hits a 6 or a boundary, doesn't really matter. He'll bring up the ton. And it's been a very good innings from him to really boss the run chase for Australia. Here we go. Mahedi in. This one worked to long off for a single. So he's doing it in singles, Marsh. He moves on to 98. That's fair enough. Just do it in singles, nudge it around. That's all Australia need to do, really. They don't need to take a risk. No need to. This is good cricket. Run rate's under control. You just need 6 and over. You got wickets in hand. Building a partnership. Reestablish a partnership. Mahedi in. And this one lapped by Smith. Down to fine leg. It's running fine to the fine leg boundary, but he will pick up a couple of runs. It's good from Smith. Good clever shot just to paddle it around the corner off the spinner. Shannon says a wicket would be disastrous. Yeah, just easily run off the face of the bat there from Smith. That's all it was. That's what he does, Smith. He just works it in the gaps and runs hard. Mahedi in. This one down the leg side, and Smith sweeps to deep backward square leg. For a single, he will retain the strike. We'll have to wait for Marsh to reach that century. He just needs 2 runs. He's on 98. 2 for 174. 28 overs done. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We'll be here until Mitchell Marsh scores his century, and then we'll be off. We're just waiting for that moment from Marsh. So we won't be streaming the whole innings today, but it pretty much is clear that Australia are on track to chase down the runs. They're doing it comfortably at the moment, so no need to hang around. We'll be back for the semi-finals next week. Join us then. It's going to be an action-packed couple of semi-finals, that's for sure. And then we will decide who will win this World Cup on Sunday of next week. And that's the end of the tournament. It's been a long one over the last 6 weeks. And then back to normal. It's going to be Nassam to continue. 6 overs, none for 45. He's been expensive. Not much spin or any assistance for the quicks on this surface. It's been quite flat. It's been comfortable for the batters from both sides today. But Bangladesh would be disappointed. They could have scored more runs than they did. Nassam is in. And Smith advances down the wicket. Can't get past mid-wicket. And there's a dot ball. Smith looking to up the tempo. Using the feet, getting busy to the spinners. Nassam is in. And Smith plays it with a straight bat. For no run. That's good from Australia, just to be clinical on what has been a flat surface, to be fair. They haven't been challenged enough, but they're doing it comfortably. Nassam is in, and Smith works it out the backward point off the outside edge. And there's no run. Come on, Smudge. Just rotate the strike. Give it over to Mitch. We want to see him bring up the 3 figures. Nassam is in, and this one worked by Smith to a deep point for a single. Here we go. Mitchell Marsh is on 98 off 81. Australia 2 for 175. chasing 307. But Mitchell Marsh, understandable that he wants to work his way through to a century. Here we go. Nassim is in. This one down the leg side is going to be called a wide. Has to re-bowl that one again. Extra run for Australia. Definitely help the cause. So here we go. Nassim is in. This one driven to deep cover by Marsh. He races to 99. One run away from the century. And we'll have to wait another over for him to bring up the ton because it's the last ball of the over. The Australian dugout ready in anticipation for the moment where Mitchell Marsh will bring up another World Cup century. He'll be second in this tournament and it'll be another one in his career. Smith plays it out to long off for a single. End of the over, 2 for 178. 29 overs are done. Mitchell Marsh is not far away from a double, from his second century in this World Cup. Well, he's making us wait, Mitchell Marsh, which is understandable. Be patient, no need to rush. He's building a partnership with Smith, which is worth 45 for the third wicket. And Australia doing it clinically. It's good. Smart cricket, pick the gaps, get the odd boundary if you can here and there. Run rates under control, 129 off 21 is not really a difficult sort of equation. It's achievable in the modern game, really. Think about it in a T20 match. Yeah, you're pretty much getting that every day of the week. So not enough runs for Bangladesh today. They could have got more. So it's going to be Mehidy to continue. He's been economical of the spinners today. None for 25 off his 6. He's about to bowl his 7th. And he's going to be bowling to Smith. He's on strike. He's 14 off 20. Mitchell Marsh, 99 off 82 at the other end. Here we go. So Mehidy in. And this one, Smith advances down the wicket, but can't get it past Mehidy. And there's no run. Looking to get busy against the spinners. Smith use his feet, get to the pitch of the ball, work it in the gaps, hit over the top if it's a bad ball. Here we go, Mehidy in. And this one's swept by Smith and swept pretty well in the end. Down a fine leg for a single. Didn't quite get it fine enough, Smith. Not enough pace on that, but he'll rotate the strike. And more importantly, he gives it over to Marsh. He's on 99 of 82. One run away from what will be a very welcome century for Marsh. His second for the tournament and another one in his career. It will be his third ODI century as well. He's only got 2 before, one in this World Cup and then one against India, which was in Australia, which was in Sydney back in 2016-17. Mehidy in, Marsh plays it out to mid-wicket and there's no run. The wait continues. It's always that one run when you want to bring up a century. It's always the hardest run to score. Mehidy in, and this one played back to the bowler, no run. Not long to go, just one run. It's often the hardest run to score. So Mehidy in. This one played out to cover. There's no run. So the wait continues. Everyone waiting patiently. 99 of 85. Last ball of the 30th over. Can Mitchell Marsh bring it up? So here we go. Mehidy in. Marsh plays it to cover. There's no run. It's the end of the over. It's 2 for 179. The wait continues. Mitchell Marsh just patiently working his way to his century. 30 overs are done, 20 remaining. And Australia well on track to chase this total of 307 after Bangladesh made 306. So Yeah, Australia definitely in control of this match, well ahead of the required run rate, well ahead of Bangladesh. Mitchell Marsh just needs one run to get the century. He's making us wait. We want him to see him. We want him to raise the bat and celebrate the century. Nassim is in. Smith can only play it out to cover no run. Wants to get off strike, give it over to Mitch, and Nassim is in. This one, Smith works it off his pads to backward square leg. He'll get off strike, pick up the single, and now Mitchell Marsh, can he bring it up in this over? As I said before, as a batter, when you're on 99, it's often the hardest run to score. That just one run, it's like getting off the mark. Here we go. Nassim is in. He plays it out to the offside, down to the long off boundary for a single, and that will be an impressive century from Mitchell Marsh. He raises his bat, takes off his helmet, sweat pouring down his brow. He acknowledges Steve Smith. 100 off 87. Well played, Mitchell Marsh. The job is not done yet. He will want to be there at the end, but he's put Australia in a very strong position with David Warner in that partnership, and now with Steve Smith, this partnership nearly approaching 50. Australia well on track to get this job done. Nassim is in, and Smith just hoiks across the line, pulls it away, down to the long on boundary for 4, and Smith, he's going to put the foot down now, and that's understandable. Put pressure back on Nassim here. Advanced down the wicket there, Smith, and pulled it nicely. And, yeah, just an easy shot in the end, really. Nassim is in, and this one, Smith launches it over the rope, over deep mid-wicket for 6. A boundary and a 6 to rub salt into the wounds of Nassim. An expensive last couple of balls, but for Australia, they're looking to motor along and get it done in a canter, I should say. John says, good work, Mitch. That has been, John. It's been good. He's played well today, Mitch. That's what you want to see from the big bicep. Standing up when the team needs him to, and he's done well today. Nassim is in. This one played down to long on for an easy single by Smith. It's the end of the over. 2 for 192. 31 overs done. Australia really bossing this game, really. It's just pedestrian-like from Bangladesh. Not much energy in the field. They look a little bit flat. Understandable, given that Australia have pretty much got this under control. So we'll be here for one more over. And Australia well on track to get these runs. It's good to see the top order, one of them score a big 100. Shannon says the job is not quite done yet. No, it's not. Exactly right, Shannon. Job is not done yet. Mitchell Marsh knows that, but he will want to be at the end and score the winning runs, which I'm sure he would be. It's a pretty good pitch. It's pretty flat. Mitchell Marsh has played a very methodical innings. He's attacked when he needed to attack. He's defended when he needed to. He's picked the gaps. He's rotated the strike nicely. It's his third ODI century. His second in this World Cup. Hassan is in to Smith, who plays it to long on for an easy single again. That's all Australia need to do. Just pick the singles, and they'll get the runs. John says, I'm cooked. Sleep beckons. See you Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you, John. We'll be back on Wednesday and Thursday, John. We're going to be doing 2 of the semi-finals. And this one launched over long on for 6 from Marsh. He dispatches it with ease. Well, Australia well on track now. 2 for 199. But thank you, John, for joining us. And thanks, everyone, for joining us. This will be our last server. But you get some sleep, John. You're going to need it because it's going to be an action-packed semi-final, that's for sure. So we will be back for the semi-finals next week on Wednesday and Thursday. India, New Zealand, and Australia, South Africa. His partnership is 50. It's 66 or 56 for the third wicket between Marsh and Smith. Miraz is in. It wasn't Hassan. It was Miraz, and this one played out to the offside, no run by Marsh. He was doing a bit of stretching. Understandable. He's batted pretty much at the start of the innings, really, when Travis Head got out early. Miraz is in. This one played out to wide, long off for an easy single in the end. It'll bring up the 200 for Australia for 2. And they need a further 100 or so more runs to win. So Australia, the 100 up. They need 107 more runs to win. And they should do it easily. They should do it with a canter. This partnership have done well to regroup after the Warner partnership with Marsh. Miraz is in and Smith plays it out to the leg side and he plays it out deep square leg for a single. 2 for 201. 1 ball left of the 32nd will be the last ball of the stream. And then we'll see all of you next week for the semi-finals. So here we go. Last ball for Miraz. He's in to Marsh, who works it off his pads to deep square leg for 1. That's the end of the over. It's 2 for 202. 32 overs done. And that will be the end of our stream. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. And, pretty obvious that Australia are well on track to win this game now. Marsh and Smith taking this game away from Bangladesh. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the stream for the last couple of hours. And I hope everyone has a good night. A reminder, we will be back next week for the semi-finals of this World Cup. So join us for the semi-finals on Wednesday and Thursday. We would love to see you there to see who will go into the World Cup final and who will win this World Cup. It should be interesting. Before we go, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram, and the podcast is available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. If there's not any more comments in the chat, I think we'll wrap up and we will see you next week on Wednesday and Thursday for the semi-finals. But thanks, everyone, for watching and listening wherever you may be. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.